I want to ask you a question. How did we get, as a nation, from this...
We shall fight in France. We shall fight on the seas and oceans. We shall fight with growing confidence and growing strength in the air. We shall defend our island, whatever the cost may be. We shall fight on the beaches. We shall fight on the landing grounds. We shall fight in the fields and in the streets. We shall fight in the hills. We shall never surrender.
Of course, Winston Churchill at the outbreak of World War II. How do we get from that to this?
Watch these guys in the UK and across Europe, across the West.
Let me tell you guys more about the full force mindset. This is an army full of brothers with the same mindset, same goals, to be the best they can possibly be, physically, mentally and spiritually, to get stronger with whatever they want. Calisthenics, wrestling, to get stronger in their deen as well. Brotherhood, we compete with each other to bring the best out of each other. Alhamdulillah, I'm saying this with chest, the army is growing, all by the will of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We try to inspire the youth, even the elderly people, to reach their full potential. May Allah purify our intentions. Join the full force army, inshallah. We're gonna take over the world soon, inshallah. Salute my soldiers.
We're going to take over the world soon, inshallah.
The Islamists understand very well that the Jews are central to the West. As they repeatedly say, first we'll destroy the Jews, then the Christians. And this program is well underway throughout the West, throughout Europe, with only a few exceptions in Eastern Europe. Europe is losing its identity through mass immigration, particularly of Muslims who refuse to integrate and who expect Western cultures to adapt to Islam instead. The West's reaction is to ignore this and submit to it. It denounces any attempt to call it out as Islamophobia. Why does the West behave like this? First of all, it's fear. The numbers are very large, the threats of violence are explicit and backed by actual terrorism. Second, for decades, the West has told itself that it's racist to think people from the developing world can do anything wrong. The default position of the Western liberal is that people from the developing world are oppressed by the West. They are therefore victims. Because they are victims, they can do no wrong, while the West, being their victimizers, can do nothing right. And Israel is considered one of the victimizers. Under this ideology, Jews can never be victims because they are said to control everything. They control finance, they control the law, they control the media, they control industry. This, of course, is paranoid anti-Semitism. So at its core, the default position of the Western liberal is deeply anti-Jew. Ignoring the threat to itself, the West therefore blames Israel for defending itself against that same threat. We've all gone through the looking glass. Islamists understand the West far better than the West understands itself. Islamists understand that religion is the moral scaffolding of a culture. Without it, that culture collapses. Now, the key bridgehead in this has been support for the Palestinian cause, the default position for every Western progressive and which is treated as their badge of conscience. Palestine cause is the destruction of Israel. Look at their maps, their emblems. Palestine is the whole of Israel. That's what they want. Listen to what they teach their children, to hate and murder Jews, not Israelis, Jews. Observe their Nazi-style demonization of Jews as rats or snakes or octopuses, monstrous demonic figures said to be secretly controlling the world in their own interests. This is why many Jews in Britain and the rest view the forest of Palestine flags on their street as a forest of Nazi flags. The Palestine cause, in my view, has corrupted Western discourse and thinking. Those who've embraced this cause parrot the very same blood libels about Israel, the same visceral disgust of Jews, the same poisonous fantasies, the same recycling of the ancient stereotypes of Jewish supremacy, the chosen people, the blood libels. And the West calls this conscience. This is the same inverted thinking that accuses the Israeli Jewish victims of genocidal assault of being the genocidal aggressors, and it claims that the Islamists' agenda to conquer the West is a defense against Islamophobia. Palestinianism is the Trojan horse for anti-Semitism, and anti-Semitism is the Trojan horse for the attack on Western civilization. Anti-Semitism isn't about the Jews. It says nothing about the Jews. What it says is that those who hold these views are degenerate, dehumanizing barbarians. A society of degenerate, dehumanizing barbarians will not survive and doesn't deserve to do so. So what's to be done? Plenty is to be done. We must all speak out against these lies. We must reassert, celebrate, promote and defend the core values of the Western nation rooted in the West's historic tradition and institutions. We must turn the universities back into the crucibles of reason rather than what they've become, which is engines for the destruction of reason. We must restore education as the transmission of Western culture, prioritize the married family, defend the nation's borders, face down Islamization, reassert the core value of one law for all, curb immigration, deport Islamic extremists, and ban Sharia law, which recognizes no superior secular authority and is therefore fundamentally an assault on Western liberal democracy. Israel's message to the West is that the Western nation-state is not, as is often said, the route to nationalism and fascism. The Western nation-state is essential to defend freedom, democracy, and the core values of European and Western society. The message that Israel has to the West is this, that a culture that understands and values what it is will live, while a culture that despises itself and wants to erase its particular and historic identity will die. Israel's message to the West, and it could not be more important at this moment in history, is that in order to survive, a culture has to choose life. This is a lesson that Europe and the West, I'm afraid, have yet to learn. Thank you very much.
أنا أقرأ اليهود بعلمونا إن الصهيونية هم أعدائنا وهم أهم شيء لازم يسوي فيهم عملية.
يعني إنهم بيعلمونا بالمدرسة إنهم إرهابيين
بيحكوا لنا عن اليهود إنهم هدول مش منيح وهدول بقتلوا قاعدين بشبابنا. بيحكوا لنا هدول غدارين. وبيحكوا لنا إنه هدول بغدرونا هدول مش منيح. إذا بطعن بدعس عليهم. عمل عمليات. كيف يعني؟ الدعس. عمليات الدعس، عمليات الطعن والاشتباك المسلح في المخيمات.
إيش أكيد هدول العمليات ترفع الراس ولفلسطين. العمليات هاي تاعت الدعس والسكاكين هاي إيش بيرفع الراس لفلسطين.
إذا بدك بطلع بستشهد عادي.
تكلم بالبدار طلع لكم انا ما بحكي لك الله يرحمه الفاصل ما يسكت خذ هالكليب خذ هات طيب خذ هات طيب يا كما اسلام يا كما اسلام خذ هات طيب خذ هات طيب خذ هات طيب يا كما اسلام maakt niet uit maar Jezus zegt als iemand jou slaat ik hou van je weet je dat nou jij slaat mij maar ik sla je niet terug want Jezus zei hou van je vijand nee maakt niet uit kom naar Jezus want Jezus leert jou van je vijand te houden ik ben niet bang voor de maakt niet uit ik ben voor Christus en Jezus.
There were 150 churches in the UK burned to the ground last year.
Recent Islamic terror attacks and foiled plans, 2024. In August 2024, a major terror plot against Taylor Swift concerts in Vienna was foiled, involving teenagers. Germany, 2024 has experienced several attacks, including a knife attack at an anti-Islam demonstration in Mannheim in March 2024, where a police officer was killed. In August 2024, a man killed 3 people at a festival in Solingen. In November 2024, a 17-year-old was arrested for plans to carry out a pipe bomb attack. USA, 2025. In January 2025, 15 people were injured in New Orleans by a person who had pledged allegiance to the Islamic State. France, 2025 April 2025 saw a series of arsons and automatic weapon attacks against prison facilities. Europol recorded an increase in jihadist attacks in the EU in 2024, 24 attacks.
Let's review what Sharia criminal law codes actually include, since some of you are out there defending it like it's a trendy new pronoun. Leaving the religion? Well, the penalty is death. But sure, remind me again how Christians and Jews are the scary ones. Criticizing the Prophet or the Quran? Penalty is death. Imagine, executed for leaving a bad Amazon review. Amputation for theft, so maybe hold off on getting that manicure. Stoning for adultery, well, there goes most of our elected leaders. 100 lashes for premarital sex. Hope that doesn't mess with your polycule. Flogging for public drinking. Goodbye, Kamala Harris. Women legally downgraded to NPCs. But don't worry, they only mean people who identify as women. Whatever that means. LGB folks, yeah, we're not surviving that storyline. And the TQ pluses, I'll see you in hell. Rejecting Islam isn't racism. It's protecting women. It's protection for LGBs and TQ pluses. It's freedom of religion. It's saying no to inhumane criminal penalties. It's preserving everything that makes America great. So when I say this evil doesn't belong here, it's not out of hatred. It's out of appreciation for the freedom we inherited and consideration for the people who suffer without it. What I don't get is why some of you are defending what seems so obviously evil and counterproductive to a healthy society.
So let's be real. Sharia law is not just about faith. In countries where it governs, it controls marriage, divorce, inheritance, dress codes, court testimony, and punishment. Women's rights are often restricted, freedoms limited, and consequences are really harsh. So how does this make sense? Flee a system, benefit from safety, and then demand that the host country change its laws to mirror what you ran away from?
Islamist terrorist incidents and trials in Denmark. 1985 Copenhagen bombings. The 1992 Copenhagen bombing. 2005 The Glostrup case. 2006 The Volsmose terrorists. 2007 Al-Qaeda plot in Copenhagen. 2010 Copenhagen terror plot Hotel Jorgensen explosion. 2012 two Somali brothers residing in Denmark. 2015 Copenhagen shootings. 2016 the Kundby case. 2016 Copenhagen terror plot. 2018 Ringsted terror plot. 2019 Danish Security and Intelligence Service. 2024 two Swedish teenagers were arrested by the Danish police in connection with a bomb blast near the Israeli embassy in Copenhagen. And then there are all the Islamic attacks that were not classified as terrorist attacks according to the courts.
It became very clear in COVID, but COVID weren't a revolutionary moment, it was a revelationary moment where a lot of people saw for the first time, you can't trust your government, you can't trust your media, you can't trust corporations, they're there to control you. They require that you are ignorant and docile in order that they can control you.